in this second session, but I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Motion. All in favor? Aye. Approval of the meeting minutes from September 18th. All in favor? Okay. Owner comments. Very good. Okay. So. We're down to the end of the season. So, first of all, I want to thank you all again for that phone call that Lauren and I were on, just to better understand, but if you could just kind of explain who you are. I did forward your website to the committee so they can look at that, so.
First, introducing myself, I went around saying hi, but my name is Eliana. I'm the Senior National Manager for Construction Services, which is a division that Real Manage has. And we are responsible for construction, large loss, and non-construction, which includes telecom, association approval, security access, water, fire safety, things that are not construction. And CSI is one of our preferred vendors. They are a great business. As a testimonial to them, I've been working with them for 5 years. And they've traveled the whole country with me. Highly believe in them, highly respect them. And so I came as a support for them to be here in case you had questions for me after they said anything. I wanted to be here for them.
Thank you.
And I'll say that all that cost us with the lunch today.
There'll be a follow. If you're successful, there'll be a follow.
Okay.
Come on. My name is John Water with some preferred service. Just briefly, my background before the consulting business was 25 years in cable television. I built my first system in 1980 and have held various positions since then up to corporate positions in my time within the cable industry. I just thank you all. Thank you, Lauren, for arranging this meeting. And I must publicly apologize to Lauren. The clouds are in. We were hitting her from both sides. Unbeknownst to me, I was in Houston. Anyhow, again, he was kind enough to do that and invite us to the meeting, so thank you. I gave you a one-page handout. Like Mike said, please be succinct and I'll be succinct. Anyhow, let me first introduce our first bullet point there is that we have 5,000, we have 5,000 properties in 46 states. We're a nationwide consulting firm. And as evidence of that, I flew our CEO in from San Antonio, Leo Delgado.
One of many cities, so that was the last time. Back to Han, back to Florida, so it's a pleasure to be with you today. We'll try to be brief. We've come to you in a basically pre-canned presentation because we really want to be partners with the needs that you may have in the community may be different than anything else. We have done massive, a lot of builders, developers across the country. So we understand what this is a city. It's a city, we use technology. We can help you all to meet your goals in the community and also possibly bring revenue to the community. When we started cable, we were working with the monopoly cable company, and eventually the phone companies got into it, and now it is extremely competitive market. Thank God, for these years. Before COVID, we met $2,000 in price of the stock, and like that. Today, these cable systems, internet systems, trading for $20,000 in a matter of the last 3 years, because we discovered the fact that we need to have internet service in our homes for our kids or grandkids or working or whatever. So what we're learning about you is the fact that we have to talk to I'd love to talk to you guys, maybe what you may have, how we will help, but this is hopefully the beginning of, getting you better. Look forward to the opportunity to explain a little bit more of our services, and thank you for your time tonight.
Who, maybe we introduce the people, hi, everybody on the video.
So two of these are auditors, Patrick and Seth. They're on the agenda after. Andrew Duganzik is one of our finance committee members.
Nice meeting you all, and again, thanks for having us. As Leo alluded to, we have been doing this for 28 plus years. And have operations and representative clients, as I said, in about 48 states nationally. What do we do? As we briefly said here, and as Leo had alluded to, I can't emphasize this enough. Service provider business today is extremely competitive. And that's the perfect match for association. Because of the competitive, we all know, competitive environment, you get the most and the best when people are competing for your business. Okay, that's what we do. When we represent an association, we put together an RFP, send it to the competitive service providers, and gather data. Draw some raw data first, initial due diligence first of all. I will tell you that what separates CSI from a few other consultants who are in this business, quite frankly, is our back office support. On our staff, not contracted, are VP of operations, underneath him, Director of Operations, Victor, who handles the RFPs. We have project coordinators, one near McCollum, who will be involved in the community. So what we like to do when we have a client is have near look at the infrastructure within that community and tell us what needs to be done, what exists now, where are the aspects, what can be done, what needs to be done. We stay with an association for generally, it's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. Our client services, we have VP of Ops, Client Services Division, stays with you for the term of the agreement to solve issues. Over the last, well, Leo's older than I am, but over the last how many years in the business, we've established some pretty decent contacts higher up the food chain and on a local level. So James Twomey is our Vice President of Operations, and I'll send you all of it. If you, after a project is completed, it rests in his lap and be your contact for issues as they arise. Okay, so you don't have to dial 888 or somebody knocked over a pedestal or I'm not getting services, whatever the issue. My bill is wrong. James and his people will manage that process. We just take that off of Lauren. So she's not tasked with solving individual or association problems. Okay, and we, as I said, and I can't emphasize this, and those of you that we all been in business, and you know how important customer services, and that's what our foundation for our back office is. We negotiate after we have done our initial due diligence, looked at the infrastructure, understand the as-built within the community, put together the RFP, okay, send it out to the competitive providers, and then assemble the data. It's a dynamic process. We're not doing this solely without contributing or being a part. Here's what we've got so far. What do you think of this? What are we missing? It's a constant exchange of information during the whole process, regardless of how many associations we're working on at the time, 1 to 9. Okay, we stay with it. We negotiate video, which is becoming a dime business for the service providers that need video subscribers to the tune of millions, because of streaming. Okay, I can't emphasize enough the importance of our project coordinators understanding what this network can handle, either individually or as a whole. Because we all know, products in the market today, you need a robust broadband network, and that's expanding. Our goal is to negotiate a future-proof network. But who the heck knows what's coming 5 years down the road? I mean, pre-COVID, did we ever think we were going to be doing this much video conferencing or telemedicine, file exchanges? I just give you, if I may, a little anecdote. When I was in the corporate office with the cable company, my job was VP of Product Development. I'm going to date myself. This was in the mid-90s. We were introducing this product called Internet, this new product, right? And our cable plans weren't two-way cable plans at the time. So we had to be creative, right? I had our team with, back then it was Scientific Atlanta, General Instrument, that built most of the electronics for the cable industry. I had them design for me a hybrid phone that was cable in, phone out. So you could stand there, and then you could stand there and receive an email, and then hear the modem calling out the phone lines. But we wanted to be first to market because we knew that this thing was going to expand. I won't profess that I knew it was going to be what it is today, but we knew it was going to expand the market. So we negotiate video, broadband, internet, security agreements for association. Okay, and there is, because the business has become extremely competitive, we have convinced them that they needed to broaden their product offering. So you have not only bulk agreements where everybody pays the same price through the association. You have marketing agreements now that the individual resident in the association, the individual resident buys whatever they want to buy from whomever they want to buy it from. But a marketing agreement and a bulk agreement, we have negotiated some very attractive upfront incentive fees. Either or, for either or market. The nice thing, of course, about bulk agreement is typically the agreement that we negotiate is 1/3 what an average resident is paying for their internet or their video services today. And again, when we do our due diligence, we'll show you that matrix. Here is what is available to you. We work for you, not the provider.
Can you explain a little more what a marketing agreement is?
Yeah, thanks. Don't be, it's kind of a misnomer because they call it an EMA, exclusive marketing agreement. In 2012, the FCC outlawed exclusivity. So you cannot tell a resident who they have to buy from, even in a bulk community. We have bulk communities where individual residents are buying from DirecTV plus pay no association. Okay. Exclusive marketing agreement merely means that that provider is the only provider that can have literature on site. That's all that means. And for that, we have negotiated, like I said, some very attractive upfront incentive money. I know from what Lauren was telling us earlier, from a finance operation, not like a lot of the associations we face in Florida. Particularly with the statutes that have passed with the reserve laws, with the collapse, the unfortunate collapse of the building and the emergency structure that has been existing in that building. So we That's, we have negotiated cell tower placements and cellular antenna placements. That's a very lucrative business for a location that qualifies. We have sold in Florida, as you know, been a crunch on budgets over the years because of the statutes. Associations are looking for cash. And if they were sitting on the cellular agreement, that's a wonderful asset. We were selling those leases, tower companies, at 20 times annual revenue. Plus, if negotiated properly, a share of revenue for any of the tenants. So there are many opportunities within an association. We don't limit ourselves, to just video, internet, which is important. But that broadband network, like I said, is critical for operation. You know it, we know it, and we want to make sure when we're representing tonight that we understand what that association's network is working on. That's very important.
So can I just
Sure.
ask,
Oh, yeah.
what's the next step if we want, if?
Okay, our next step to get started, the providers will not recognize us unless we're authorized by the association. I mean, it's common sense, they're not doing it. You have one page, simple, one page, what's called letter of agency. Very innocuous. Doesn't commit you to anything, but allows us to do our initial due diligence. That's the next step.
Okay,
That's when we'd like to get with Sunbridge.
okay.
Quite truthfully, so
And that-
that's that lead in.
How long does it typically take for you to do the research and then to come back to the association?
Well, we know that Comcast is here, and a smart city as well. And we obviously do, they're the biggest at this point, Comcast is either the state of Florida, their Atlanta regional office, and corporate office, so it's be pretty quick. They are the biggest at this moment, so it does take them a little bit of time to get that was typically 2 to 3 weeks. The other ones, Smart City or some other providers, in a week, honestly.
Okay.
But we need the data first. Like I said, we don't come to a frequency right here, you should do this, or you should do that. At the end of the day, wait, if you don't like what we bring to you, you have nothing to move forward. And one more thing is we work with each, how do we get paid on a contingency basis? If you have money, they also have marketing dollars and they'll pay us directly for that. Completely, you'll know exactly what amount they're on, what we're getting, it depends on the provider. So there's no risk for the association whatsoever.
It's like a broker fee that
Yes, sure.
is offered.
And like I said, there's also a lot of competitors in the marketplace for.
And you'll give a local perspective.
We potentially, I can't tell you exactly what's going to be, because that's what the community wants and the providers that are here and all that, but really it's a lot of times we're asked, what's the catch? We're here with you. And this is too good to be true and all that, but we've been doing it for 28 years. Thank God it changed from monopoly days.
I was trying to, when I ask you, when you present to them or you get the data, you'll give them all scenarios, right?
Of course.
For the EMA.
Yeah, and there are, what we're finding is some of what I call the second tier is not a good word, but it is. And when Florida passed in the old days, we had to go from municipality to municipality to get franchised and build cable system. Florida changed that time. They made it a statewide system. When that happened, because it's very capital intensive. When that happened, all the fiber providers started to come in, Hotwire, Sunlight, Optic Hotel, Blue Street. There's a number of providers that entered the market because now they can build a network statewide and justify their.
We obviously not going to invite anybody that is not capable of providers or the incumbents, it's the obvious discussion with them and all that, but It will not be a surface because it's getting to the point, there's two major wires. And we, I grew up in Tampa down the street, facing Fort Lauderdale, this is our home, so. We understand what celebration is, comes to you guys especially. And this is why I flew here because it's important to us to be able to, help you and provide you. So looking forward to the next step.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions for me?
This letter of intent or the introductory.
It's like, you see that says that we have a right to ask them.
Okay. Is there anything that in there that would infer that maybe you're gonna consolidate to one particular provider or another? Is that what you're intending the purpose?
So the board will eventually choose who they want. By the way, if it's not obvious to the board, we have to face you. Basically, we don't recommend anybody.
The only thing you need to remember in celebration, people are very, particular about the decisions they make. And we do have Smart City and we have Comcast. There's some issue on, I guess, DirecTV, but, people will stand behind the provider and they will stand on that principle. If you let, at the initial stage, any kind of inference that one or the other may be eliminated, you'll be DOA. Yeah,
We hear you.
that's just, that'll be the kiss of death.
That's a great point.
So you gotta be very sensitive to it.
Great point.
We're humans, right? We're all the way on the stage.
And they're beyond human in celebration.
I hear you. I hear you. Basically, it's the board will decide the end that what they want, don't want.
Well, don't say that because right away that sets up the board then. Yeah. That's not the.
We'll take your guidance. Whatever you tell us, we will do it.
Like I said, the development agreement says money's up front, there's tremendous savings individually. On the marketing agreement, like I said, there's incentive money plus. Ongoing.
You have to be foolish not to explore. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we
like-
get on.
And also, the type of savings we're talking about. You did, so you got to say, roughly the number of units we got here. What we show in the map, we were going to save $54 million. So they, over 10 years, over 10 years. So about a year. Now, you're saying that, but it's there, what see, it's not only a money way, it's also what it enables. This becomes a, obviously, again, this is a special property, but you may enhance the security, but all kinds of things are possible once you have a network that you can participate in. Right now, it's completely controlled by Connectivity, or it's completely controlled by Comcast.
Did you end up with one provider, so we can,
So,
one provider,
what that we have, they actually, they ended up going with another company,
not the incumbent?
they did not, they went with Blue Street, however, we do deal with Comcast every day.
Can you share with them your success at Fish Hawk with a unit?
Sure, fish always on this, we really this on the Southern program in Tampa. I happen to have the, when it was built, I negotiated a deal, 20 something. Obviously, the community had been built, it's about 5,000 units. They decided not to do a bulk agreement. They signed me a market agreement, and they recently $500 million. I ended up with a deal with Frontier, the full company there, was more aggressive. Over the 10 years, not only did they get the $500 million, they were also getting revenue share. They're getting $250,000 a year. So when you add it all up, you're talking about $300 million to the community. So I was going to be, when you do the math here, in terms of what the potential either savings would be. And then there's a lot more things that can,
Got
Andrew, sorry.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I was going to say, regarding some examples, I know, can you retract some of the personal information, but provide 3 HOAs in Florida that are similar to our size of what they had prior, what you guys came in and implemented, and what those ongoing costs were, so we can
So
see
he
those
said,
examples of.
can you provide examples of 3 similar size HOAs in Florida, what they had to begin with, what you provided and what the result was?
Absolutely.
Fish Hawk is one of
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give you,
them.
yes, what's his,
Yeah, and
Andrew, yeah, we'll provide you with at least 3 references, on prior association.
And
This
then I guess the
size.
other thing would be with Celebration, you have ECDD, you have CDD, and you have CROA. So are you doing a comprehensive Celebration review or would it be strictly just CROA?
All right, so I think he asked, we have ECDD and CDD here. Would it be a comprehensive review of Celebration or would it just be the residential side?
no comprehensive.
Oh, yeah, we looked, we,
You guys buy, restaurants and all that, that should be part of the revenue share. Because
So-
right now, they're keeping those money.
Andrew, we discussed with them at the initial meeting with Jim, is that we also have the non-residential association, so, I mean, them participating in any agreement like this might be beneficial for both associations.
yeah, we'll look at the entire campus, yes.
Question for you. After you enter into an agreement with a provider, how do you address the changes in technology that are going to occur for that period of time?
We can't tell the difference, so we want, first of all, we'll work with attorneys, right, commercial attorneys. But basically, we can't predict the future, it's changed. We started the meeting today, I'm sure the value has changed and all that, so we basically work with attorneys that are telecom attorneys and working with your HOA attorneys together to make sure that we can't predict the future, but basically gives you enough flexibility. Guarantees of technology reviews, you're right to sit with them once a year to see what has changed in a year, 2 years, 5 years. So there's a lot of things that are,
Well,
So there's no mechanisms that.
there is, no, there is.
there is.
We have, what we put into the agreements we negotiate is called an evergreen clause. Okay? So that whomever you choose has to look at this property, has to offer this property the same technology or upgrade technology that they've offered in your market. Yes, it's called an evergreen.
Anything else?
I'll ask a question. So the 54 million is Filipino, which you say, get your real estate in your period. How does your, fee on how's that calculated? Are you a percentage of that savings projected?
No, we didn't, actually, there's a lot that we do that we don't charge for.
I just want to know what you got.
So we haven't told you, we got paid out, so
You got what?
$100 and $5,000, that's what we need. And for that, they were.
So 10%?
No.
It's another.
It's a different side.
Apart from the $50 million, we got 0 as a percentage of the savings. So that was completely goes to the association. These, because of the competitive marketplace, about the customer, they're willing to pay us a fee, a broker fee. And that's it. You don't owe us anything. After that, we didn't take it.
Okay, earlier you said something about the way the calculation works. And I thought I deduced that you're an open book approach.
We are
And tell us everything.
everything.
So how much did you get paid as Solita from the provider that was in the?
5,000 to 100. That was our fee.
100,000?
No, like 500, yeah, 500,000. Because it's on top of your savings, by the way, they also
They
receive,
have 5,000 doors.
they also, but per door. So they got from money.
Yeah.
It's one time, done
And like I said, Mike,
for the life of the contract.
Okay, gotcha. You're gonna get questions about that. We're gonna want comprehensive, full transparency, so just come.
You're not-
We are open book.
And that does not affect whatever door fee they negotiate.
Not at
with
all.
us. It's a separate kitty. There's a fire separate.
You'll never sell that story.
Oh, but it is.
Two and two is not five.
but again,
The pie's gotta be split somewhere, but the pie is the pie.
Well, it's like having a BD person go sell your company, you pay that person a salary and whatever they do, they sell, but whatever, at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying.
if, and I know, you've got a full agenda here. Happy to answer any questions you think of, anything after we leave, give it the Lord knows how to reach out to us. that. Look forward to getting the ROA and starting to do some due diligence in this property. And also, Lauren, if I do have, I'll send it to you tonight.
Yeah.
We very much appreciate you guys coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Phil.
I'm part of the package also, so Frank Casati, VP of Technology and Smart Communities. So I also will be on this, this welcoming committee with you guys, so appreciate your time. We'll also be doing part of the process and the due diligence for you, so. We're looking forward to working with you guys. Thank
If you have any questions for me, Dr. Manis, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. See you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Yes, that's.
Mike, I guess I shouldn't be a celebration resident because I do not like Smart City.
I don't do smart city either. I've been in Xfinity Comcast, came with the
There
email.
you go.
I would want to.
1995.
When we first moved to Celebration, it took away Smart City a month to give us internet.
One thing, to remember, Smart City had fiber before Comcast.
Yeah.
I was still not.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Just one thing, this.
Yeah.
One, I think you're gonna talk to the board before you give them that letter to start working.
So I'm gonna get, he said he's gonna email me tonight and then I'll email it to you guys to see. If you want this on, it would probably be before the workshop and then that gives you guys time to keep reviewing. Unless you want to put it on the agenda for next week. So I still have time.
Yeah. Why
That
don't
feels a little bit rushed.
Well, the whole concept. Part of explaining to.
That's why I'm thinking workshop conversation first and then.
Yeah, I would support the workshop. I think the workshop's appropriate.
Yeah. If you don't take it slow, it just kick off at the wrong foot, it gets out in the community.
Yeah,
And it gets along. It's the way.
that's why I'm prepping a November workshop, a November workshop, and then if it is gets traction for then the November approval.
My question is, forget the revenue and the extra dollars, what's the advantage? You've got to sell people online or we make things.
Sure.
I don't know there's an improvement in, we've got good services now. So I think that's a push.
I've been involved in two of them,
That's what it is.
no change in service.
I have Smart City, Gigabit 5. Yesterday, I just renewed my Comcast backup circuit. They were gonna take my 400 meg circuit, it was $50 a month, to 70 Comcast. I called it. I've got Gigabit from Comcast now for $50 a month. So I have two circuits in my house that I have the equipment that load balances and fails over. So my wife and I work from home, we don't go all the time. Negotiated with both of those companies, my price, and my terms, and that I want 1 year, 5 year. What is this going to do that's different? Because I'm also working in packages coming to my house from no say.
You lose the ability, I've been involved twice with these type of firms, and you lose your ability to negotiate. The only thing is you can disconnect and go with somebody else.
You don't have to go with it.
Right.
You can stay with it. Right. But if they could negotiate with Smart City where everybody's paying, let's say $79 a month, and they can negotiate $50 a month.
That's all it's the same. Nothing
What's
puts
the
you
win?
in.
So the equipment quality should all be the same.
Right. I mean, it basically stays the same.
Well, then if Smart City's getting less money, then they're coming here and put 10 gigabit fiber, which is what I would do. Because I have the equipment in my house, I can use it, but nobody can offer it to me in the neighborhood because.
This is the old, but
This, that's why.
now it's the thing where you talk about independent profit. And they will do this, the providers will do this in different markets to preserve homes. Because incremental profitability is very high versus the average. So they don't want to lose any in the top 10. And until it reaches some tipping point, they'll be as flexible as they can, and they'll cut these deals in the woodwork. It's just the way it works.
So I was on a call 5 years ago with the head of Google Fiber. You don't know about Google Fiber, they were the ones that came in and absolutely destroyed the industry. They came in and said, we'll put gigabit fiber to your home for $70 a month. The local cable company could not compete. They went through 3 general managers in Kansas City in 9 months because they couldn't find a way to compete. The person who ran Google Fiber used to do cable internet delivery. He wrote the standard the modems used to do the communication. What he said is, with internet service providers, there's a 96% profit margin. That is why there's so much money to play with here to share the pot. As a resident, I want ever increasing and better equipment. And if we go in and we cut the cost out and cut their profit incentive, then we're not going to get upgraded to the next level of
Well,
style.
but maybe that's a question to ask of them is when they're going, if you choose to go with them and you go out to bid, you write in your agreement is as new equipment and new things come up, we expect it's gonna come from profit share.
He avoided the answering that question I asked.
Yeah.
Because that's a key element in this.
Because I think about, they don't keep up,
They don't.
then
But normally, when you
we're
upgrade,
actually losing more business.
when you upgrade a meter, whatever it is, your bill goes up by $7.50 or whatever it is amortized. And so it's kind of your decision, it's priced on whether your base, you know, when you start to change equipment.
Yeah.
That's where it works.
Okay, let's get to our auditors and statement. On here.
Oh,
You fit? Okay, next on the 2024 audit. You guys want to speak or you just want to answer questions?
First of all, thank you for having us today. It's nice to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Did you want Patrick and I to go over the audit for you, just give you some numbers? Did you guys want to go over the questions you had? No one really explained what the forum was today for what you guys wanted to do.
And Ray, did you communicate questions to them?
Yeah.
Address those
Patrick, you want to answer?
Okay, let me answer.
So Patrick, if you want to go over, for example, additional supporting documentation on how you guys got to the depreciation expense, how you guys got to the adjusting the allowance for bad debt expense in the service areas. If you want to start there.
Sure, that's not a problem. With the first question for journal entry, 1/8 of that 80,000. So basically that was what the association wrote off that was located in fund balance. I just reclassed to bad debt expense. The association had 2 write-offs. One was for 41,606.14, and the other one was for 39,283.15. So that totaled the 80,844 and 29 cents. So I just reclassed that out of.
Nice, he's just waiting for feedback if you guys have any.
What's that?
He's just waiting for feedback, right?
And then where was it, where was it written to the journal entry? What was your initial journal entry?
Mike is asking what was your initial journal entry, Patrick?
There was an original journal entry. That's what the association had in retained earnings. So to reconcile fund balance, all that activity had to go through the P&L for the right.
You're cutting off a little bit.
I'm sorry.
So
I
these,
just said that activity that was recorded, the write-offs just had to go through the P&L just to reconcile.
So there was.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
We have those amounts, we wrote.
so he mentioned that there was like 2 big transactions that needed to be write off at the association, right, Patrick? That's what it is?
Yeah,
Yes.
2 associations wrote off the accounts and they just put it, and I just put it on P&L.
I'm assuming it's dues that were past due that we can collect on because there was foreclosure and we only got pennies on the dollar. That's, I mean, that's really the only thing that you write off.
Okay, good.
Okay, and then can you explain, what logic did you guys use to determine that the allowance for bad debt, needed to be reduced for the service areas?
So we basically look at all the our reports for the service areas, and we determine anything that was late to break out. And so we're just going through it. It seemed like the association was going to collect that money, so I guess we just took a more aggressive approach for that amount for service area. It's just based on the AR, what the each service area is showing on the report. Because when I look at
Usually
like
if it's over a year, right, Patrick? Usually if it's over a year, we're a little aggressive. So if they have receivables of over a year, then we try to allocate that as bad debt because we haven't been able to prove it's collectible yet. And we can adjust that on an annual basis based on collections going down or receivables going up.
How much would that entry for? I don't know from me.
The general allowance for bad debt, it was multiple entries, each for each service area
How much total?
in all.
So Patrick and Seth, on that, it was over a year, but then was that 100% written off or a percentage?
Well, what was in fund balance, and Patrick will follow up, but fund balance, those were units that were already written off by the association. We were just reconciling the account and putting it back to where it belonged. But when we do an adjustment, if we do, we'll test AR by looking at, receivables that are over a certain period of time, and then we will match what our number is against what the association shows. And if they're the same or within reason, in a material amount, we won't make an adjustment. But if it's outside that scope, we will make an adjustment just in case, because you never know if you're going to collect it or not. So we like to err on the safety because in Florida, you don't always get paid for everything.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
A little bit over 30,000. A little bit over 30,000.
it's not a problem to adjust it back. If the association feels like that money might not be collected or so, I can go ahead and just delete that entry. And
Patrick, I'm sorry, can you also talk about, how do you guys got to the depreciation number?
so that appreciation number is based on all the items that the association still has in service. I can give a breakout of exactly that, and then we can track like there. So it's the total, all the fixed assets that they have, the association has tied to basically that 1.2. And then those are just the items that are still in service. That we
Can
track.
you share, can you share that information to us so that the finance committee can review the information as well?
Is that Ray, is that just
Yep.
true only appreciation?
Ray,
Yeah.
Ray, you should.
That's it.
Yeah, Ray, you should also have a copy of this and keep an internal report like this. Ray, you should be keeping a report like this as well to have. So when the association during the year is purchasing any assets that need to be capitalized, you're able to add it to this report and then possibly start, recording the depreciation. It would help internally as well to know what things you guys have.
So I can forward you to that right now, Ray. Give me 1 second.
And Ray, thank you for coming aboard. You've been a great help these last few months.
Thank you. You can tell them more.
No, you have been.
While Patrick is looking for that information, we also wanted to see if it was possible to adjust the interest earned note, Patrick, on page 10. I sent you a recommendation for our finance committee, of what the wording should be for that, a specific note in the audit report.
Right, yes. So when I revise the draft again, I will update that and also show the transfer of the interest that the association wanted to recommend and then an operating fund.
Okay, and then to confirm, if we are able to provide you with the supporting documentation of when the board approved for us to reclassify the interest earned from the capital investment or reserve investment to the operating fund, are you guys able to just like remove those entries from the report?
Correct.
Journal
But I'll
entry.
just show it. But it will still be recognized on the P&L for the activity. So if it's earned in interest, I mean, it's earned in the replacement fund, it has to be shown there. But I'll make the entry below the line and you'll see the transfer.
Okay. So that'll get the funds to the right balances that they were in 2024.
In our statements, we had it there to begin with, then you were doing a journal entry to take it away, move it to the reserve fund and whatever. So why don't you just kill the journal entry, doesn't it just stay where it is? You just check that. I mean, we started there, you were doing a journal entry to move it. If we eliminate that journal entry, it's gonna stay in the operating fund.
Correct, yes. So just for presentation purpose, I'll just show it as in the fund that it was earned, but then I'll get rid of the journal entries and then you don't have to do anything.
So you can just do that. Yeah, no. What he said, I believe what he's saying is you're gonna leave the interest income where it was earned and then show it transferring out to the. So that way it comes in and comes out. Right?
Yes. So if it's earned in the replacement fund, that has to be recognized in the replacement fund. But then again, I'll make the transfer below the line. That is going into the operating.
Which I think that makes sense because you can't just have the money in the operating, it has to get there somewhere, which it truly was earned in the replacement and capital. So that's why that adjustment needs to move to operating.
So yes, I'm saying, so when I make the, so currently I made the journal entry to put it back in the respective fund that the money was earned. But that you guys have it on your association for the income statement, you guys have everything in operating.
Yes. We made the decision a few years ago and the board approved it, that any interest earned on the capital and reserve funds would move over to the operating fund.
You had the note in the P and L, that was all goofy, was screwed up, and I reworded that, 3 sentences. And it says that's our accounting process for interest income. That it's recognized within the operating fund. That's where we put it.
Right, but I'm saying for GAAP purpose, though, it has to be recognized for the financials, though. If earned in reserves, it'll be shown on the reserve. It's owed in the improvement fund is shown on the improvement fund. But then I'll make the transfer below the line that doesn't have to do anything.
Okay, that's fine.
Patrick, also another question. There was a concern about recognizing 100% of the audit expenses in 2024 instead of prorating that expense, a portion in 2024 and the other portion in 2025. Can you go over that?
It's so for GAAP purposes, though, the expenses that's incurred for that particular year have to be recognized there, regardless when it's paid. So if you have expenses for 24, even though it's paid in 25, those services are still supposed to be required and shown for the year that services were done.
Even though the services are being completed this year?
But it's applicable to the 24 audit. That's the reason why.
It needs to do it. Okay, so everybody's good with just like recognizing 100% of expenses in 2024?
Yep. I think that's happening.
Ray, did you receive the breakout? I sent you the email.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are all the assets the association has on file that get you to that total balance sheets for Crowell. And then depreciation is applicable to all the you guys have.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll share this with you guys so you can review what you wanted to share. It's a big rip. Okay. Appreciate it from which I brought. I'll put it here just in case 1 second.
So one last question, we're sitting here in October, if we're talking about the audit from 2024, I think our contract calls for the audit to be complete by July. We had the same discussion last year.
Okay. The audit, Ray, the audit was originally issued in April, on April 27th. And it was, as you had told us last year, all of it goes through management to you. So we sent the original draft back on April 27th in a timely frame. And we have been working with Ray to make updates. We were not aware that it was not forwarded to you, so I can't answer your question as to why you didn't get it. I just know that our original draft was sent on April 27th, right before the deadline.
So we had that much in mind, but we needed to reconcile this audit
No.
from April till.
No. So what happened is that, when the first draft was, generated, I believe that a lot of the backup information was missing. That from our part, you hadn't received much of the information for you to be able to complete the audit report. So what happened is that so when I started here, I took over the audit and then I connected with them and they told me what information they were missing. So I started working on it so that they could get all the support information that they needed. And that's how they were able to provide a second draft. Now, we also need to point out that, yes, I want to take part of the blame because of course, while I got it and got my feet wet and was able to provide information that they needed, we also were relying on Horizon for them to provide information from their side.
Hang those people.
Yeah,
We beat them up every year. This is a normal thing.
Practice.
yeah, and it got to a point that it got escalated into permanent.
Science.
Yes, and even Patrick was sending follow-up emails and he was telling me that he wouldn't get responses from them, which is why we escalated from our side. So I want to make it clear that it's not all of the audit team. We have also been contributing to this delay as well. But now,
It's okay, we're here, so we're here. Let's make it different next year.
Yeah.
Right?
With Ray on board from the beginning this year and knowing what support documentation they need, we should be quicker on the.
I agree, but I would suggest that we're a little more proactive with ours, that we baby them and nurture them and move every deadline up by 2 months for ours.
Well, now if they don't respond within a day or two, I just push it to Corbin to get them to respond.
Okay, so yeah, find a path around it. But I mean, use those, so.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's how we keep got cured.
so I guess the question is, guys, when can we get another, like a final draft? What information, what additional information do you need from our side to be able to provide a final draft so the finance committee can review and we can have the board formally approve?
If there's not any other issues, I can make the change that we talked about, Ray, as far as updating the interest note and then reversing that entry, and then I can get you another draft, the final draft, by the end of the week.
Okay, including adjusting entry 1A?
The 1A is not, that's what the association, I just had to put that there to reconcile fund balance. I didn't write those numbers up.
Okay, because my concern is that the way that the journal enters is structured, we're debiting a portion to the operating fund and we're debiting another portion to the reserve fund, and we're not balancing each of the funds at the end of the day.
Yeah, yes, that can be split out into 2 different.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you. Any more questions? So. Then thank you guys for taking the time to joining us. I would really appreciate your support working with us. And Patrick, then I guess we'll stay in touch.
Yep, at any time, and maybe in this sometime in the near distant future, we'll set up a time and we can come over to the property and we can meet everybody face to face instead of over the computers.
Just a heads up, Patrick, I'm gonna be out next week, so if you send me an email, I'll reply. It's because of that, but I'm gonna be back on the 28th.
Okay, not a problem. I'll note that.
And if you need anything urgently, you can always copy me on the email. I'm on most of them, so.
Okay, that's not an issue. So then you'll have the revised draft then by Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
What year are we in the contract with them? I think it was a 5-year deal. Is it 3 or 4?
No, if you annually
It's annual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's 3 years.
I don't think the board approves this either.
It was just a.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge, the taxes are done every year, and I think normally they get 2 or 3 bids for it, but they were chosen to keep consistency from last year.
We're consistent, we're not, we're again trying to get the audit done, so we're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it had to do with 2023. That was a mess of trying to get from what was terrible to awful, from awful to okay, and now hopefully from okay to good next year, I guess.
Okay. We move on. September financials. Valray, I want to again thank you for getting these out and for responding to our comments. Let me just pull up there. Mike, you have other questions that you want to ask? Frank?
Go ahead, Frank.
I'm good.
Okay. Jim, I would love to saw your comments, and then Andrew, I saw yours too. I know I didn't organize myself very well. Let's see, so all the due from and due to, we're gonna get those cleaned up, I think that's what you said.
Yeah, so I'm planning on cleaning up in October, the due to operating from capital and reserve, and I'm gonna transfer $200,000 from operating to capital to start using what's over here I got.
Jim, you asked about Island Village, I saw a date of October or something, does that mean it's gonna start?
It platted October 13th, but before Ray can start billing them, we have to wait for the property appraiser website to update with the addresses, so then we can add them into Serena, but the effective billing date will be October 13th.
Okay.
So it's just gonna be a while until we can get the bill out to them.
So there.
And Lauren, all disputes with CDDD were resolved?
Yeah, that's the only thing that was pausing their planning.
Yeah, and it took, so that it probably cost us at least a month because CCDD had a problem with the agreement. So,
Well, we did our part, we took 2 of the parcels.
well, I know, I appreciate that. It was one parcel they complained about.
Okay, Andrew, I saw your note about the mulch. I agree, I don't think we should do mulch this year.
So North Village is an in-progress mulching. After that, we will pause the remainder.
We've got to find some places.
Yeah.
Spend a minute on the repair and maintenance. I saw the inventory report.
Sorry.
Okay, I saw the inventory report.
Yes,
And
and that's the first priority of Luis when he starts next week on the 21st.
it's incidental. I mean, I was wondering if we had some big ticket items on there. I scanned it. There's 115 lines. If you figure $20 a line, which is what it probably comes out to, that's $2,300. And even if it was $100 a line, value, it's $11,500. So the problem isn't there. We have a bunch of inventory that we're sitting on that's been expensive. So that's not the issue. So I'm just gonna, I guess, make some statements about the numbers. And I think we need to have some type of controls and decide what we're gonna do and when we're gonna do. I saw a base list of the items. And if I put my hands on here real quick. Real quick.
No, while you're looking for that, we just rolled out 2 updated policies. 1, the credit card use policy, and 2, the purchasing policy. Credit cards are no longer allowed to be used for services, which is where we were seeing a lot of the bills. Unless it's an emergency approval from Jacob or myself. And then purchasing, everybody's submitting POs for anything under $1,000 now, instead of giving some we were giving more leeway in the maintenance department to make sure we were fixing things timely. So this way we can say, well, you know, maybe we don't need to do that right now urgently. We can pause on that.
From the list that Randy gave us, and I don't have the detail here, but I can just speak to it. More than 50% of those appear to be elective things that we decided to do, not things that were broken. We're rebuilding backflows and different things. And
So backflows are a requirement. Every year, the backflows have to be inspected and repairs made based on the inspection for them to get certified. Otherwise, ECDD will cut off your water.
So every one of our backflows was bad at the same time.
They hadn't been checked in years because ECDD wasn't enforcing the policy. They just started reinforcing the policy because Total was auditing this year. Asked ECDD for their records. They didn't have any because we haven't been doing. So
Okay,
this
now that's nice. The dog park and league, I know we got big for that. What were some of the other ones on your list?
So I have here, the passive part for the repair of multiple backflows. On Spring Lake, we have the AC unit, running low on refrigerant, and they did a recharge of 15 pounds of Freon. Lakeside, another backflow rebuild, North Village, emergency call, the toilets were clogged. They needed to do use the jet machines to unclog the main lines. CCFC repair broken supply and 6-month outlets, install no breakers and lines. Again, passive parks, install new photo cells and breakers. The dog park already mentioned about the leak. At Lakeside, again, remove and install a new underground valve to control the water flow to the shower valve and the bathrooms. Against CCFC, the installation of a new contactor for all holes and outlets in the property. Spring Park self-service call to jet the sewer of the main line of the bathrooms, and Island Village repair short of the contactor and replace breaker of the AC unit.
The CCFC one was due to a burnout from the lightning strike.
Okay. And then I saw the numbers on it, like 1,800 for the sewer. And I don't know, are those numbers being assigned by the employees, or is that a third party that charges $1,800 for a sewer premium?
Third party.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy number. 1,800, I think that one of the streets I thought there was detail on something, you have to look now. But, you know, I would implore us to really focus on elective things and not do those if you don't have to, because we got plenty of things that are more urgent. And the bucket's full. I mean, I'll tell you the full bucket is. We're projected that we're gonna have $446,000 worth of repair and maintenance at the end of the year. That's a projection, but not. If I take September and annualize it, it looks like that number probably could be 496, almost $500,000 by the year end. Against the budget of 284, we're 80% of the budget. That's just, we can't do that. It's like running your own finances. You just can't do that. Our budget for next year is set at 353,000. So we're gonna have to do something to have the lines intersect us to be in the budget for this next year. Because we're at 500,000 projected on my mind, and we're gonna be at 353,000 or 10 next year.
Yeah, we tightened the internal controls, the policies were just issued this week. I mean, they were existing before, but they've been tightened up.
Okay.
So now things should flow through Jacob or I with extra stuff that we're.
Hopefully we can see some improvement in the trend, because it's just been a while.
Yeah, so I'm onboarding Luis next week.
Thank you.
So this will be a main topic of conversation for the remainder of the year.
Where's he coming from?
Where's he coming from?
Yeah.
Right now, he's at Fountain Blue in Miami. Before, he was at Mystic Dunes for many, many years as their chief engineer. And so he's got a wealth of knowledge and experience.
Understanding those things. Yes.
Jim, that's all I have. I know you guys have any other questions.
Not that this is ideal, but do we want Graham Manors to look at all the R&M to see if there's anything that could be potentially considered replacement and consider some of those items to be moved?
We are actively doing that on a monthly basis, and we're actively adding to the board packet multiple invoices, mainly due to mainly related to pool repairs, so that the board for their classification from the operating fund to reserve. Yes.
Is there a written policy that defines what's replacement versus the O and M?
The replacement expenditures are based on the reserve study.
Oh, right.
So if it qualifies as a repair or maintenance of something with reserve study, then we can kick it to reserves. Unfortunately, like expensive things like pool lights are not a reserve expenditure, but repairing a pool light is $1,000 a pop. Replacing it is a lot more. And a lot
Well,
of
then
pool lights.
maybe is the question, not pulling it from replacement, but needing to pull from capital.
Yes.
And you can pull whatever you want from capital. I don't think, most of these are just standard repair maintenance items.
Yeah, again, we'll talk about the capital fund a little down this list here. Couple of things. I did buy a digital ID and it works tremendously. The problem is.
How much would it be?
$15.
Got your picture on it?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Did you name this for that? I said, don't have.
You don't have to say. You gotta get one.
Well, there's 868 left
Yes.
out of 1,000, so a lot of people.
Sign like hotcakes.
You know what, I will say this, though, a lot of the people who in the center now have it.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier.
I'm glad you brought it up. I thought you brought it for $250,000 for the capital thing. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, right?
Yeah.
Feel good about that?
Oh, well, it's not only
Boy,
that.
the timing was amazing.
Yeah,
I saw it coming, I was, you feel like.
yeah.
I did, it didn't go.
Almost just.
I got projections.
Let's never have a project like that again.
That's not all that, that's not, that's over you guys.
Yeah.
It's managed.
It was the unifying.
Yeah. ROI.
It wasn't about an ROI. It wasn't about digital IDs, it was about unified security system. That just so happened to have digital IDs. So we can't do an ROI with 1,000 cards.
No,
that was never going to do it.
I think you need to sit down with the guy on the IT committee who knows all about it.
Tom Hall.
Yeah.
Tom Hall, you're involved.
You can get on.
You can give you all the RFPs and all the.
Disaster.
Anyway, I think we need to try and publicize it a little bit more, push it or do something. I
In
mean,
the tech committee, they were recommending that an email go out. Dom has the notice, he was gonna bring it to you, Lauren.
oh, okay, good.
I suggested maybe waiting into November when the snowbirds are being asked about a better response.
We can just add it a month to the first Monday matters of the month to go out.
Yeah, I think the request,
A separate,
a separate, email,
can do that and maybe go to push.
because we at least gonna get to 1,000.
Okay, there's 4 vacancies. Are they, what kind of positions are they?
Facilities director that will be filled on the 21st. Team maintenance techs and the lead porter, but those we're holding open for the director to start.
Okay.
So they can hire their own people.
What's the fourth? Facilities to maintenance.
Lead porter,
Oh,
so also facilities director.
how many porters do we have?
There's 2 porters and then we lost our evening person who was kind of a weird position on itself, and evaluating the team, we decided to make a lead porter position because we've also separated out the porters, so they're not both here Monday through Friday. We always have a porter here 7 days a week. And then the lead will do quality control and other semi-maintenance related tasks.
Is the Parks and Rec individual who was assaulted at the Highland Village Fitness Center still employed or?
He is.
Oh. You hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got bits and pieces of workshop. Yeah, came up there. I got on the street, I got the people that did they spend the weekend in jail or something?
I can't independently verify.
You've heard it say it, but I've heard that.
I've heard both sides of the story from the individuals involved, but I'm not gonna comment on it because it's in legal status.
Believe me, it's not the first person who is, at least, most of them just raise their voice. They don't actually do something physical, but there are a lot of people that are pissed about having to show their IDs or the fact that they're using their parents' IDs, their friends' IDs and things like that. And they just yell at the Parks and Rec person. And that's why somebody's got to come up with rules that if people are abused and people like that, they should be suspended for X amount of time.
Absolutely.
Yep. So.
I think it was good to publish Monday Matters, wherever it was. It had, you can't, there's no guest policy for I didn't, until I saw that writing, I didn't comprehend that. I thought they were maybe just behaving or something, but it makes sense. You don't have a guest policy for athletics now.
Yeah. And that's posted right on the glass that you walk in. So. Okay. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything for September?
Good to move forward.
Okay. Fund analyses and forecasts. I provide, you guys all saw the spreadsheet, maybe you didn't have time to look at it, of the home sales. And my concern over all the items from May and prior that we're not getting any collections.
I'm sorry.
Did you see that?
Your Excel file? No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, when I reconciled all the cash that you posted that had come in.
Yeah.
Nothing from May and prior was included as collected. And there's a bunch of. It's over 60, what did I say, 63,000, 68,000 of potential fees that
Haven't been recognized.
haven't been paid.
I can't collect it. Yeah.
Or else they got collected and went somewhere else.
I'll go over the report.
And I guess if,
And the other-
if those funds weren't collected, is there a certain interest charge or late penalties that we can start putting on to make sure that comes through?
Well, it should have been, I mean, it should be on their closing statement, which then title company is probably the one. That's why the only way to get it is to go back and do that research on the title company and.
This won't answer it for all of them, but I am aware of two properties where funds are being held in escrow because there's covenant/ARC issues between the seller, like the home is sold, but there's a covenant/ARC issue with the home. So the funds that should come to the association and to buyer and seller are being held in escrow.
Oh, okay. That's two.
Well, I know, yeah, I know two of the recent ones are.
All of these 68,000.
No, well, that's what I said, it won't address all of this, but at least
Yeah.
that's explanation for two.
All right, well, take a look at it. You know, the other thing, which is not a big dollar amount, but it seems like on every closing now, they're just going with that 0.005%. As opposed to the 1 year of dues for things below 270,000. No one's paying attention to the 1 year of dues.
Usually the 5% is higher than the 1 year dues, but if you want, I can add a second column to the report so you can compare the 5% to the year dues and see which number is higher and the one that we.
Well, see, because like I said, it's like 200 and you just do calculation, 270 or something like that. So anything that sells below that, it should be 1 year.
We've had quite a few conversations
Okay, I'll check. That's all. It's just, they don't seem to know that they had.
Yeah, there's the totals, yes.
Right, it should be 1 year's worth of dues. Any update as far as the capital fund is to 851 and if there's any problems that they're talking about that they didn't think were a problem?
That would be a change order.
Yeah.
There are some pending change orders, but they haven't made it through Colin to get to us yet. One that was a potential change order was the trash bay. But the board asked us to bid that out separately, so that RFP was issued, yesterday. As a design build project, so that'll run in tandem. Yeah, other than that, I think the biggest one will be full replacement of the front doors. They were gonna try to refurbish them, but it's just not.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll find something.
They're making good progress on demo, I can say, from the pictures.
Yeah. I like that. Any other discussions on the funds?
Yeah, 851 under T bills. So when you mentioned this, Jim, I think you were, I guess Andrew did it, and it was online. The T bills still show that expired at 10/2 still showing in the statement. I assume we let that lapse, you reflected that cash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not reflected here because we're reviewing September financials, but
Okay.
we're ready to see.
And then the next one, we're going to let Ryan also. Ensure it's not going to be more, right?
Well, that was gonna be a discussion for this one, but if I'm not mistaken, that was the.
Give me some numbers. We've got 1.153 cash in capital fund right now. And with the note from 10/2 and 10/30, that'll add $1 million roughly. So we'll be at 2.1. In 2025, we expect expenditures of 1.6 from your original. So we need to do that. So we've got liquidity, paying those bills on the capital fund.
Well, and you're gonna finish paying out the splash pad by November.
Yeah, I saw it was 270 or something. It's not very.
Yeah, we've got like 300%.
And then you're gonna start paying for the multi-purpose court design work. Because that started and
Those are pretty incidental.
they're small, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna start adding up.
Yep, the big one comes in 2026, when we've got 0.3, that's,
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to, well, take a hold on the funds, treasury bills, and make sure we. Engage.
Oh, yeah, I would not re-up the 1031.
Yeah, we need that first.
Okay, just a bit of cash, and then we can, that's on margin next year, so we can just leave those then. And if it gets to a point where we think we can do something for 30 days, or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
What about there's a T bill on the reserve side as well, expires on 10/30.
Yeah, I would re-up that.
That was the favorite place, yeah. Yeah, I know Ricky can not.
Okay,
We can break it.
okay, now I'll just liquidate the T bill for the account.
Yep. Okay, well, Ray, you sent us the accounts receivable analysis and the fact that they have suspended the residents. Do we know if they're just financial difficulty or where's the
story?
Yeah.
You didn't see that, no, I put up back a couple of weeks ago. The owners are being sued. Litigation for 57 million for fraud and diversion of funds and everything.
I didn't see that.
It's really trouble.
They're on their real lives, their wife
Yeah, that's, we can look at Facebook this week, common area, air conditioning out, Wi-Fi's not going. People are paying their bills to do from their apartments, so they're still getting air conditioning there. There's a ceiling, somebody gave me a picture of a ceiling that was down in the hallway or something, so they might have a leak in the roof. They've got more trouble. There's probably, since I looked at that last, there's 3 or 4 more law firms on there that are talking about that company. And if you've not gotten any distributions from them, from the REIT that you invested in, call us, like in, ambulance chaser. They want to file charges.
Okay.
I don't know where Ray confirmed that we filed a lien, but I don't know where we're going to be in the secured project. I mean, this dog will be here, that's what we're going to be. We're going to follow them on the list.
They haven't filed for bankruptcy yet.
No, that'll be next.
Yeah.
They're claiming innocence right now. And so they'll get a judgment about filing bankruptcy the next morning. So,
That legal can wait till.
Or start selling off properties.
yeah, they've got quite a few properties, maybe 50, I think.
They're a good size.
Mostly student housing and, multi.
Okay, we've got 9 minutes here. What did we want to talk about the code of conduct, just because it got sent out to everybody?
Yeah, that's the issue.
Just a reminder that the meetings and the communication are professional, keep them that way. That's the summation.
That's the summation.
That's
Okay.
a pretty high bar.
Yeah, it's a high bar. No yelling, screaming, and calling names.
Yeah.
Was there an incident someplace?
Yeah.
It's back notice. Okay, there was an incident. There was one incident and we told everybody that you might watch it.
Don't you know how it works?
Me? I mean, these are things.
Yes, pick everybody. The
There were,
meetings will
there were
continue forever.
incidents that timed well with the other incidents that it, that. One at the gym, one at the front counter, and then incidents, committee related.
Was a convergence.
Yes.
We figured that was, black cloud, so we're gonna try to clear it up. Reminder that.
Just the golden rule.
Okay. Mike, you want to go through any of the stuff you wanted to talk about?
I think we touched.
Or did we touch?
I think we touched everyone we talked about in the hotel or the apartment building.
Yeah.
I don't, they're gonna come at the end of this year with, or when we do this audit of the bad debt reserve. We're gonna have to make a bad debt reserve. Yeah, 300,000, I'd say a chance of getting that like about 0.
Yeah.
Alright. So. I don't know, do cut them off 3 months ago, what's been said on the end. They are just out of sorts, you know, really scrambling. The only other thing that I have to, I think we talked about it all, we talked about mulch, and strategies to try to reduce expenses.
Policy more about, just so that they talk probably more about it in terms of.
That'll help to do that, make them too.
Yeah.
Is there any other areas that we can address? What about holding off on some of these replacement positions?
I don't think those will get filled until the beginning of the year, just to be honest with you, based on.
Well, that was 3. Right? Get by. 7.
Anywhere else?
Good.
Okay, just a Cook Island Village Phase 2 update, 61%. Phase 2A is under contract. 3 houses actually closed.
61%.
87.
83. 83 went in town.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So 51 are. And like I said, 3 closed, and so 3 are moved in, and even though they're still doing tons of construction on some of the town limits. You can drive back there and take a look. They started really going to try and get things done, and then maybe some of the people who are moving there and their closing dates have all moved up a month from what they originally told.
We'll be doing a walk of the passive parks because they're almost ready to turn over.
Oh. Yeah, they're not ready yet, because I was just.
We will protect what we get.
Yeah, they put a couple chairs there, but there's only one, right? There's only one circle.
In 2A, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of like Penny Rock.
it's not that big.
Yeah,
If there's talking about.
yeah, that's how Penny Rock is.
You ask the parks that reminded you, why don't we just suspend all Passing Park work until next year?
I don't think we're doing any additional landscaping work
Yeah.
outside of what was approved by the board last month.
Okay. Jacob had a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, we've drastically paused that schedule.
Okay.
Good.
I think the only thing that you'll see is just annual replacements for the holidays. Makes sense.
This has been Christmas for me. Thank you.
So by October, we will pass over to the capital fund. So. I'm going to start a little slow, but there's 25,000 to the website, so. See when they close.
I think our run rate's gonna be more than we budgeted in 375, and we end up with houses, is that what we ended up on?
Yeah.
Resales. I think we're gonna be at least 400. With the new and current community. And then the other piece, currently what we're needing is 600.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, before we adjourn, aside from the reclassification of the resident IDs, out of IT to admin, any other adjustments? Before I can share that, just
No, just that other reclass.
the 3,000 are regular business. Yes, well, thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Andrew.